friends, it is I, Darius the Mailman here. I've noticed a lack of generic grassland adventures on the channel, so today I'm going to be fixing that. We're going to be showcasing 5 different generic grasslands for you friends. Hope you enjoy it. Generic Grassland Adventure number 828 by the Flying Dutchman. A time comes where a man called Mario, in other words, Darius, must face the truth. He is in another generic grassland adventure. My friends, I'm really happy I'm able to showcase these generic grassland adventures because I feel like people only do this at certain parts of the year, especially around this time. And I really hope people can do them more because they really shed new light to this community, and not just this community, but also to level making as a whole. Looks like we have Princess Daisy here, so let's see what she has to say. Excuse me there. Oh, Mario, and by Mario, we're referring to me, obviously, Darius. Darius the Mailman has kidnapped Princess Daisy's heart, and she is madly in love with him now. Alright, this was a year ago, I almost forgot about that. You know, she was all up on my grill, and, you know, she was one of my exes, and... Okay, bye now, Stooch and Tire for me. Speaking of which, let's go ahead. Smooch, 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 smooch.
Whoa, yeah.
Generic Grassland Adventures are such an enthralling experience because there's a lot of different ways you can mess around with them. And in my opinion, there's a lot you can enjoy about the journey that goes to it. Okay, we got a dragon coin, so let's get that real quickly. So in my opinion, there is a lot of joy that can go into the destination that you enthrall yourself upon, because there's a lot of experiences that you know on the way, and those experiences can help you gain wisdom. My friends, wisdom is very important because this helps us grow as a person, and there's a lot of life lessons that can be had. So essentially, you have to think of it this way: time moves differently for everybody. All of our experiences don't always line up at the same time, right? We have different goals, we have different ambitions. So just because somebody is doing one thing, you shouldn't be influenced by what another person does, right? So keep that in mind if you're ever trying to accomplish something in life. Have fun with it. Have fun with what you're doing and embrace the journey, because the journey is the most important part about the journey is enjoying the journey. Hello, my ex. People actually talk to crazy NPCs nowadays. That's even more crazy. Smooching time was fun. So, is it that baddie? So is that baddie box over there? Though I prefer to grow that hidden bean in the bush over there instead of dying a gruesome and painful death. You know what I like to do? Smooch, 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 smooch.
The nether.
So she was referring to this. Fine, you know, whatever. Okay, I can't hit it when it's like, oh, I can't hit that, okay. So we go up here. Another thing too is nature has its own way of giving. So we give to nature and nature gives to us. It's a cycle of life. We're always part of that cycle. And it's such a beautiful experience knowing what we can contribute and what is being contributed back to us. Generic Grassland Adventure by Cammario. My friends, something else I feel that is important is that the people around you, your friends, your family, your peers, all have different sorts of knowledge, and we can learn from them with their knowledge and the knowledge that we spread. It's basically like a cycle when you think about it. So it's really nice knowing that, because that determines what you can be influenced by, and then of course that also determines what they can be influenced by. And another thing is, technically people see what they want to see, and with that profound knowledge there's so much you can do with it, and much of the knowledge that you gain can help you ascertain what you view in life. Life is a very important thing to view, my friends, and knowing what's out there is also crucial to making life decisions, such as Generic Grassland Adventures, for instance, which we all love. And Many of these things you can and can't change, and knowing the power that you possess comes a long way, right? Because that determines what you can and can't control. So manifest what you can control and what you cannot control.
The Nether.
Do not enter Bub. We have Rosalie and real another woman. Goody, you defeated Darius the Koopa, but he revived Bub. I always revive. I'm the Flying Dutchman, Haunter of the Seven Seas, and Mayor and creator of the level Share Square. Goody. Okay, Bub.
The Nether.
My friends, it's also important to not make assumptions about what you know and what you don't know. Assumptions can create the wrong sorts of outcomes and opinions that you have on others. So, knowing that can make you not have the right kind of taste or opinion. It's kind of like judging a book by a cover, because when you judge a book by the cover, you often neglect what's actually within. So, never neglect the contents within, my friends, and make sure you understand what is out there, and make sure you don't just judge what people tell you up front, because there's always more that meets the eyes. SMT plus Darius Generic Grassland Adventure 1 by GenericNintendoFan. Darius requested a new series from me, so here begins a new adventure. Super Mario Bros. Plus Darius Generic Grassland Adventure. Please enjoy. Yo Mario, what is happened by Mario referring to Darius? Darius asked that you come on this adventure. Let's go. My friends, Generic Grassland Adventures are always worth the journey, and especially what we've contributed over the years and what we've accomplished really shines, and it really shows what we've done as a community and what we've been able to do with the Generic Grassland Adventures, especially over the years, right? And technically in this case, since a lot of these Generic Grassland Adventures were a year ago, I'm really excited to see what we have coming this year as well. My friends, it's always important to understand that what we do and what we contribute really shapes and defines us as who we are as a person. It also helps us understand our persona better. It also helps us understand how we shape the world and the others around us better. And it's really important to be thankful for what we have and what we're given. As much as Darius wants a new quality level today, I don't think we can rush quality, sadly. It's true, my friends. Go ahead and finish the level, I suppose. My friends, always be thankful for what you're given, because you never know what might happen to you. Always take your days one step at a time. Never try and rush into things. If you rush into things, you can always expect to find forced results. And we don't want that, my friends. We want to make sure you all are having a good time. So remember, friends, live each day like it's your last day, and always enjoy what life gives you, because you never know what might happen next. Generic Grassland Adventure number 6942 by Junbug, my first level of generic level series. One thing that I always like to do in my life is I always like to capitalize on whatever moment I can. That's what makes me shine, and that's what people remember me by. It's not just the acts that people remember me by, but it's also how I make them react. It's also how I make them feel, what kind of emotion I can convey on their faces, and whatever else that they have pictured and whatever else they have in mind. It's always important to remember to take every day slowly. Don't rush into things. Always enjoy yourself to the fullest. In the grand scheme of the universe, we're just a grain of sand. We're just the grain of sand in an entire beach. We can contribute a lot just with our small actions, and our small actions can really make a difference and can really shine. It can really show how we can captivate our life. And not just our life, but also the life of others around us. See you next time, friends. My friends, I have saved the best for last. Randomly generated SMC V8 level, version 2, by Igor Fire 13. Again, bruh. Generic Grassland Adventure got a new meaning. Good luck running Mario, in other words, Darius, for 5 kilometers, and it looks like we have to run 10,686 miles. My friends, I have given you a lot of valuable life lessons today, and I think it's really important to live each day as if it's your last day, because you obviously never know what's going to happen, and it's always nice to be able to cherish what you have and what you can't. And I've mentioned Generic Grassland Adventures. That is something that I feel like should be cherished, because there's a lot of vegetation that goes inside the grass, right? There's an ecosystem that must be fulfilled. There's always the apex predators, there's always the predators, there's always the prey. And it's always a cycle, it's a chain of life that must be fulfilled. And in these generic grasslands, we can see that here. Each animal, each enemy has its role to fulfill. Each one preys upon the other, each one gets preyed upon the other. It's the cycle of life, and it always repeats itself. Wildlife is such a beautiful spectacle when you think about it, and there's a lot of things and a lot of patterns that can go into it. There's just so much versatility out there. It's like patterns constantly changing every day. There's all sorts of different patterns that coincide with each other, and evolution is a beautiful thing. In Super Mario Contract, evolution can be clearly seen with the Koopas and Goombas. We have winged Goombas and we have wingless Goombas, and then for the Koopas we have different colored variants, which they represent their colors based off the ecosystem that they correspond with. Some, like these yellow Koopas, shine brightly to stick out, so that way they can warn predators not to go near them. A good example in life is the poison dart frog. The poison dart frog uses shiny colors to lure off predators to make sure that they don't actually attack them. And of course you also have other examples of animals that try to camouflage, they try not to be seen, and good examples of those would be the chameleon and the octopus. The octopus is probably the best one, if I'm being honest, because the octopus can redefine its shape entirely. It can actually transform into textures around it. You wouldn't even be able to tell where an octopus is just based off where its location is. Of course, that is to say, while these ecosystems are always constantly changing, global warming always has an impact on it, and we humans are always impacted it, I feel. Did you know that the polar ice caps are melting rapidly? This is a serious issue around the world, and we need to make sure that we can prevent this from happening. It's very important that we do not use a bunch of electronics all the time, because our electronics we use can actually speed up the process of global warming. Not just that, but also gas and all sorts of oil that we use to power our cars and whatnot. Many countries, especially ones in Europe, especially one I think of is Norway, are trying to switch to solar energy to prevent global warming from happening sooner, or at least the increase in the temperatures. Deforestation worsens global warming when you think about it, because trees absorb carbon dioxide, but deforestation always releases it back in the atmosphere. It's kind of just, it's like a cycle. Like kind of how plants, when they absorb sunlight, that's photosynthesis, and then they release that carbon dioxide and oxygen. The past decade that we've been living in has been the hottest in the record. It has not even come close. Each year that passes, it always ranks among the warmest recorded record of being warm. Air pollution especially is a problem that is mainly caused by humans, especially when you think about it. Humans are destroying their ecosystem. Humans will technically be the downfall of the world. I mean, the heat death is inevitable, but humans, when you think about it, are technically increasing the heat death. They're basically increasing that from happening. Another thing about global warming too is that sea levels, especially in the Arctic areas, they've risen by about 8 inches. And then, this is mostly due to the ice caps that are melting. When you think about it, because the expansion of the warming seawater is going to have a major contribution, especially to the ecosystems around. And you also have to realize too that extreme weather, especially in events that have heat waves, hurricanes, and wildfires, they're going to constantly spread because of global warming. Global warming not only changes the ice caps melt in the surrounding environment that it's within, it's also going to change what's surrounding it as well. Global warming is a serious subject, and it's very important that we understand what we can and can't do to prevent it. But the thing is about global warming, I think I've talked a lot about that already. Global warming should we be careful about and make sure that we try and do our best to prevent it from speeding up. Generic Grassland Adventures have different types of wildlife, as we can see, and one of the examples that we see is grass. And many animals out there, especially horses, they rely on grass to get by. Grass is a good food source for many of these herbivorous animals. And just like the food chain that I mentioned, these herbivorous animals are always good food to eat. That also begs the question too, why do herbivorous animals taste better than carnivorous animals? That also begs the question too, because herbivorous animals, when you think about it, they consume more energy than the carnivorous animals. Carnivorous animals don't have as much energy, so maybe that's why humans don't like them as much, because they probably don't taste as good. There's a lot of different niches that get fulfilled just because of this ecosystem. So, in our Earth's history, there have been 5 mass extinction events. The biggest one was known as the Great Die, and that happened roughly 250 million years ago. This was a major extinction event, and one of the things that extinction events do is they constantly change the ecosystem. They constantly change who the apex predators are, who's on top, who's on bottom. Always is changing around, right? So, it's always something to keep in mind, because something as small as a meteor hitting the Earth, which that happened during the KPG extinction event 66 million years ago. A common misconception about that is that it's believed that it wiped out all the dinosaurs, but that's actually not true. Birds are dinosaurs. Non-avian dinosaurs still actually persisted after the KPG extinction event. If you're curious what KPG stands for, that just means the Cretaceous Paleogene. That's what paleontologists actually rank the time periods by. Because technically, those are periods in our Earth's history. And then, of course, if we go from one era to another, we have Mesozoic to, Paleozoic, which is what that extinction event led to. So, Canornis is an example of a non-avian dinosaur that actually made it past the asteroid hitting the Earth, but they didn't actually go extinct. A lot of small non-avian dinosaurs and dinosaurs did actually make it out of the extinction event, but the largest known animal that survived the extinction event was a raccoon. See you next time, friends.